Welcome, truth seekers, to the Chill Stoic, the podcast that empowers you to navigate the complexities of human nature with unwavering clarity and profound confidence. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that, while uncomfortable, is absolutely crucial for our emotional and mental well-being: identifying toxic individuals. Have you ever felt an inexplicable drain on your energy after being around someone, like you've just run a marathon? Or perhaps you've noticed your emotions being subtly twisted, leaving a trail of confusion and chaos in their wake, making you question your own sanity? It's unsettling to admit, but true malice isn't confined to the pages of fiction or the silver screen. It exists, often cleverly disguised, in our everyday lives. But here's the empowering news. With heightened awareness and a bit of ancient wisdom, you can spot the warning signs and protect your peace. So let's unlock the secrets to recognizing these hidden dangers and safeguarding your inner sanctuary. Understanding the true nature of malice. Evil people don't arrive with horns or tails. Their true nature is revealed through their consistent actions. They manipulate, they destroy, and they exploit your kindness for their own relentless gain. The good news is, you don't need to be a seasoned detective to recognize them. Ancient Stoic philosophers like Marcus Aurelius and Seneca, with their timeless wisdom, have shared profound insights on how to identify destructive behaviors and guard yourself against their insidious influence. In this episode of The Chill Stoic, I'll uncover 10 undeniable signs that you're dealing with a truly toxic individual. Insights you simply cannot afford to ignore. These will empower you to maintain your peace and safeguard your precious energy. Ready to fortify your mind? Let's dive in and learn how to navigate this world with clarity and confidence. Part 1. The Art of Constant Manipulation. Seneca once profoundly stated, "He who has many fears also has many things to manipulate." This isn't just a casual reminder, it's a stark, chilling warning about the insidious power of manipulation when wielded by malicious individuals. These people don't thrive on integrity, they flourish by distorting reality, turning elaborate lies into their most effective, venomous weapon. I recall a time when I worked closely with a colleague I initially trusted implicitly. He was a master at public praise, making me feel incredibly valued and recognized in front of others. Yet, behind the scenes, he spun subtle, damaging narratives, quietly undermining my work and inflating minor mistakes into major career-threatening issues for management. When I sensed something was off and finally confronted him, he remained eerily calm, with an almost too innocent smile, claiming he was merely helping me improve. This instantly made me question myself, my abilities, and my own judgment. Was I doing something wrong? I started doubting everything. In truth, he wasn't helping me at all. He was subtly pushing me into a state of dependence, making me believe I desperately needed his guidance to be good enough. This is precisely how manipulation operates. It doesn't just disorient you, it systematically erodes your confidence and sense of self-worth. Manipulators don't build relationships on trust and honesty. Instead, they deftly exploit your vulnerabilities to gain control, preying on your uncertainties and chillingly convincing you that only they truly understand you and that only they can properly guide you. Stoic philosophy teaches us that the key to combating manipulation is unwavering clarity and resolute self-control. A truly virtuous person will always guide you toward independence and autonomy, never entangle you in a suffocating web of dependence. If someone in your life constantly urges you to follow their lead while consistently disregarding your boundaries or personal autonomy, it's a clear, undeniable sign you need to step back. Remember Epictetus's timeless wisdom: "No man is free who is not master of himself." By refusing to participate in their manipulation game, you reclaim absolute control over your thoughts, your actions, and your decisions. Mental clarity and profound self-awareness are the ultimate antidotes to their toxic influence. You don't need to argue or prove yourself. Simply step out of their manipulative embrace and fiercely hold on to your freedom. Could there be someone like this subtly influencing your life right now? What are some small steps you can take to reclaim your personal power? Keep listening as we unpack even more vital signs. Part 2. The Deceptive Mask of Charm. Epictetus once reminded us that appearances, no matter how dazzling, often hide a much darker truth beneath. Have you ever encountered someone whose charm seemed almost too perfect, as if scripted directly from a Hollywood movie? Their radiant smile, their soothing words, their uncanny ability to make you feel utterly special, everything about them felt like a flawless, captivating performance. It was almost hypnotic. But when you take a step back and truly look closer, you might realize that behind this polished facade lies a motive far, far from genuine. Charm, when used sincerely, is a wonderful thing. It connects people, it builds trust, and it fosters genuinely meaningful relationships. However, in the hands of someone with darker intentions, charm transforms into a deadly, silent weapon. They possess an uncanny ability to capture your heart, disarm you with carefully crafted words, and present themselves as the friend you've always sought, the perfect partner, or even a trusted mentor. Yet, their charm is hollow, like a glossy, beautiful shell, concealing a bitter, insidious truth. Marcus Aurelius once warned us, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. These individuals don't just manipulate, they use their charm as a sophisticated mask to hide their true nature, profound selfishness, pervasive deceit, and relentless, calculating manipulation. Observe how they behave when no one is watching. How do they treat those who offer them no immediate benefit or social standing? Words can be beautifully decorated, painted with pleasantries, but actions paint the truest, most unvarnished picture of character. I once knew someone who had an uncanny ability to make everyone feel adored. He showered people with compliments, making them believe they were genuinely special to him, the absolute center of his universe. But over time, I realized he wasn't the person he appeared to be at all. His praise felt calculated, serving as a tool to extract something in return, whether it was information, influence, or favors. And when there was nothing left for him to gain, he quickly distanced himself, often bad-mouthing the very people he once so profusely flattered, leaving confusion and hurt in his wake. How do you break free from their enchantment? Don't ignore the subtle warnings in your gut. If you feel charmed yet profoundly uneasy, trust that primal instinct. These manipulative individuals rely on your willingness to overlook the glaring red flags, to believe in the elaborate illusion they've painstakingly created. Stoic philosophy teaches us that truth needs no mask. Genuine kindness shines purely on its own, without pretense. So, step past the glittering surface and seek the raw, unadorned truth beneath. Authentic goodness requires no disguise. Part 3. Lies without conscience. Marcus Aurelius once advised that nothing should be done if it isn't right, and nothing should be said if it isn't true. Yet for truly malicious individuals, truth is merely an inconvenient obstacle. They don't lie out of carelessness or accidental oversight. They lie because deceit has become their second nature, a comfortable language they speak fluently. Their lies aren't random or impulsive. They are meticulously crafted with a clear, often destructive purpose, whether it's to gain power, evade responsibility, or fundamentally distort your entire perception of reality. Imagine a friend who consistently weaves elaborate tales to gain credibility, each story more intricate than the last. Once, she convinced you that she single-handedly managed a critical, high-stakes project, claiming full responsibility for its resounding success. But upon closer inspection, every document, every email you reviewed proved otherwise. When gently confronted instead of owning up, she accused you of misunderstanding the situation, deftly deflecting attention to unrelated details or even blaming the system for its confusion. This is precisely how master manipulators operate. They make you question your own memory, your own judgment, subtly eroding your grip on reality. Evil manipulators exploit your inherent uncertainty, convincing you they know better, and in doing so, they seize absolute control of the narrative. Their lies demand constant, exhausting upkeep, new layers of deceit piled upon old ones, like a house of cards perpetually threatening to collapse. But herein lies their Achilles heel. Truth is resilient, requiring no maintenance, while lies are fragile, constantly at risk of unraveling at the slightest pull. To protect yourself, pay meticulous attention to inconsistencies. Do their stories shift under pressure, changing like the wind? Are their proclaimed actions truly aligned with their words, or is there a gaping chasm between the two? Stoic philosophy teaches us to focus intently on actions, as they definitively reveal a person's true, unvarnished character. When you spot glaring discrepancies between someone's words and actions, trust your observations over their flimsy claims. Ask probing questions, demand transparency, and most importantly, set firm, unyielding boundaries. Honesty isn't just the foundation of healthy relationships, it's a crystal clear mirror reflecting integrity. And when dishonesty persists, don't hesitate to walk away. Stoicism reminds us that real strength lies in mastering ourselves and distancing from anything that fundamentally undermines our values and peace. So the next time you encounter someone who lies without conscience, hold your ground, focus on their undeniable actions, and resolutely safeguard yourself against their intricate web of deceit. Part 4. The chilling lack of empathy. Seneca once observed that humans are inherently social creatures, not meant to live solely for themselves. Empathy is the vital bridge that connects us, allowing us to share in the joys and sorrows of others, to truly feel what another feels. Yet, for truly malicious individuals, other people are nothing more than pawns in their self-serving games, existing only to fulfill a purpose for them. They do not genuinely care about your happiness or your pain unless it perfectly aligns with their personal agenda or benefits them in some way. This profound lack of empathy isn't just a character flaw, it's a glaring, terrifying window into a hollow, empty soul. Imagine this scenario. You're sitting across from a friend, pouring your heart out about a struggle that's been weighing you down, perhaps a recent loss or a significant setback. Instead of offering genuine support, comfort, or even a listening ear, they deflect. "Oh, you think that's bad? Let me tell you about my day," they retort, impatiently dismissing your raw vulnerability as trivial and insignificant. This is not an isolated act. It's a consistent, observable pattern. These individuals are unwilling, or worse, utterly incapable of stepping outside their own narrow interests to genuinely connect with your experience. Their detachment manifests in a chilling indifference, or even a silent, unsettling delight in your misfortunes, leaving a profound void where empathy should reside. Empathy isn't just a nice-to-have quality, it's the very cornerstone of meaningful relationships. Without it, interactions become transactional, one-sided, and profoundly emotionally draining. Malicious individuals leverage their lack of empathy to further their selfish goals. They may feign compassion when it's convenient or serves a purpose, but their true apathy becomes glaringly evident the moment their mask slips. As Marcus Aurelius wisely advised, no more arguing about what a good man should be one. So, what do you do when faced with such chilling indifference? First, establish firm boundaries. Protect your peace, and absolutely do not allow their coldness to diminish your worth or invalidate your feelings. Seek relationships built on mutual respect and understanding, relationships that uplift rather than tear down. Surround yourself with people who genuinely celebrate your joy and stand with you in sorrow, because true connection is rooted in empathy, not exploitation. Part 5. The insatiable hunger for control. For a truly evil person, control isn't just a habit, it's their lifeline, their very essence. They want to dominate everything around them, from relationships and thoughts to even the smallest of your daily decisions. Marcus Aurelius once said that your mind is under your control, not external circumstances. When you realize this, you discover your true strength. But this intrinsic strength is precisely what malicious individuals seek to strip from you, because they know that controlling your mind is the ultimate key to ruling your entire life. I once knew someone who initially appeared incredibly trustworthy and genuinely caring. At first, their advice seemed thoughtful and genuinely helpful. Over time, however, a troubling pattern emerged. They began inserting subtle, undermining remarks into conversations, casting pervasive doubt on my decisions, and making me feel as though I desperately needed their guidance to make any right choice. Once, when I was considering joining an important new project, they convinced me that I wasn't capable, urging me to let them take the lead. At the time, I complied, largely because they had made me feel utterly incapable of trusting my own judgment. In hindsight, it was perfectly clear. They simply wanted to keep me under their control, ensuring I would never outgrow them or their sphere of influence. People like this don't just want to influence your actions. They aim to relentlessly dominate your thoughts and emotions. They use guilt, shame, or even sweet manipulative words to make you entirely dependent on them. They're not invested in your growth. Their sole goal is to keep you firmly within their grasp. Over time, you begin doubting yourself, your abilities, and your worth, leaving your autonomy completely eroded and your spirit diminished. Epictetus wisely said that freedom is the only worthy goal in life, and that true freedom comes from refusing to be controlled by what lies beyond our influence. Malicious individuals know this well, and they'll stop at nothing to imprison your mind. But you don't have to live that way. You have every right to reject their games. Ask yourself, does this align with my values? Use that question as a compass to guide your actions. Autonomy is the greatest power you possess, and it's not for anyone to take from you. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that the quality of our thoughts determines the happiness of our lives. Don't let anyone shape your reality or make you question your inherent value. Protect your mind. It is the starting point of true freedom. Those who genuinely care for you will never try to control you. Instead, they'll empower you to make your own decisions and grow in your own unique way. So stand firm, hold your ground, and let your mind lead you to the freedom you truly deserve. Part 6. The perpetual blame game and deflection. Seneca wisely observed that people often prefer to trust rather than to judge. This is precisely what manipulative individuals ruthlessly exploit to their advantage. Instead of taking accountability for their actions, they tirelessly craft elaborate stories that cast themselves as the perpetual victim in every single situation. By blaming others and deflecting responsibility, they not only cunningly avoid consequences, but also, with an unsettling finesse, shift the entire burden onto someone else. As Seneca noted, the truth stands firm without justification, while lies always require elaborate stories to sustain them. Imagine dealing with someone who always, without fail, evades accountability. Every time something goes wrong, they avoid admitting their mistakes and instead instantly blame you or some external, uncontrollable circumstance. Once, I worked on an important project with a close friend. When things started going south, rather than owning up to her oversights, she was quick to criticize my organizational approach, leaving me questioning whether I was the sole problem. What made it worse was her subtle tone, as if she was merely offering constructive feedback. After multiple instances, I finally realized I was being manipulated into bearing the brunt of every error, while she walked away unscathed. These individuals excel at crafting narratives that distort reality and profoundly cloud your judgment. They manipulate emotions, making you feel overwhelmingly guilty, even when they are clearly at fault. They rely on your sensitivity and your inherent trust to weave a story in which they are always the victim, and you somehow magically become the villain. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that the truth stands on its own. When faced with such individuals, it's crucial to maintain an objective perspective and steadfastly resist letting emotions dictate your reactions. Stay anchored in facts and don't hesitate to calmly but firmly question or refute false claims. When they try to shift blame, calmly but firmly demand clarity. This approach not only keeps you from falling prey to their blame games, but also reinforces your own integrity. To handle such people, establish clear, non-negotiable boundaries. Refuse to engage in the psychological games they construct to dodge responsibility. Instead, stand firm in your truth, ensuring they cannot manipulate or distort reality. Integrity and accountability are the hallmarks of a strong, healthy character. When someone consistently refuses to take responsibility, their true manipulative nature becomes undeniably evident. Your job is to protect your peace and steer clear of their corrosive games. Part 7. The chilling pleasure of pain. One of the most chilling and disturbing traits of a truly malicious individual is the profound satisfaction they derive from others' suffering. Epictetus wisely advised, "Associate with those who make you better." Yet for these individuals, they are not interested in growth or mutual support. They actively seek opportunities to degrade and find twisted joy in the pain around them. Whether subtle or overt, this toxic pleasure is a clear, blaring signal that you should immediately distance yourself. This delight in others' misery often begins with small, seemingly harmless actions. It could be a sarcastic remark veiled as a joke, a mocking laugh at someone's misfortune, or a barely perceptible smirk of satisfaction when witnessing someone else's failure. Over time, these behaviors reveal their true malevolent nature. They don't seek to elevate themselves through hard work or genuine merit, but rather by standing on the shoulders of those they tear down. I once had a friend who reveled in sharing the missteps and struggles of others with a strange, almost giddy enthusiasm. One day, she audibly chuckled when a coworker was publicly reprimanded in the office. At first, I thought it was mere indifference, a lack of awareness. But as time passed, it became chillingly clear. This was her twisted way of feeling powerful and superior. Instead of offering support or empathy, she magnified others' struggles to make herself appear better, more successful, and more in control. Seneca once said, "No man is more unhappy than one who never faces adversity." However, for such individuals, adversity isn't a lesson to learn from, it's a tool to wield. Their joy doesn't come from achieving anything meaningful themselves, but from watching others stumble and fall. They may subtly sabotage, spread malicious gossip, or intentionally harm to feed their insatiable ego. At the root of this behavior often lies deep insecurity and a profound sense of emptiness. They need others to suffer to momentarily feel better about themselves, but this fleeting satisfaction is just a temporary, flimsy mask for their inner emptiness. To counter individuals like this, Stoic philosophy underscores the critical importance of safeguarding your self-worth and meticulously choosing relationships that genuinely foster growth and positivity. Recognize the signs. Their indifference, their unsettling enjoyment of others' pain, or their fixation on failures to feel superior. Step away from them, because every moment you spend in their presence is a moment you lose peace and self-value. Surround yourself with those who lift you up, those who celebrate your growth rather than diminish it. These are the people who not only respect you, but encourage you to be the absolute best version of yourself. True joy is never built on the suffering of others, but on shared success and genuine, supportive relationships. Part 8. Isolation as a weapon. Marcus Aurelius once said that humans are born to cooperate. Our strength lies in unity, shared experiences, and the unwavering encouragement of those who genuinely care for us. But for malicious individuals, this natural order is precisely what they aim to disrupt and destroy. One of their most potent, insidious weapons is isolation. By systematically separating you from loved ones, friends, or crucial support groups, they not only strip away your emotional strength, but also make you infinitely easier to control and manipulate. I once had a friend who initially seemed genuine and incredibly caring. Over time, however, she started making subtle, yet profoundly negative comments about people close to me. "Your best friend doesn't really treat you well," she'd say with a serious, concerned tone, "or your family doesn't understand you the way I do." At first, I brushed off her remarks thinking she was just looking out for me, perhaps a bit overzealous. But as time passed, these comments became more frequent, more pointed, actively creating doubt and subtly distancing me from the very relationships that had always been my strongest support system. Her approach was gentle, almost imperceptible, yet perfectly calculated, effectively isolating me from those who mattered most. This tactic is no accident. It's a deliberate, calculated psychological maneuver used by toxic individuals to sow deep insecurity and make you believe they're the only ones who truly care or understand you. The more isolated you become, the greater their control over you grows, tightening its grip. But here's what they desperately don't want you to realize. True strength comes from connection, from genuine and solid relationships. Unity is the foundation of resilience. If you start noticing feelings of loneliness or an unnatural detachment from your loved ones, pause and reflect. Reevaluate the situation, trust your instincts, and don't hesitate to reach out to those who truly matter to you. Speak to friends, family, and close confidants. They are the unshakable foundation that keeps you grounded, even when life feels unstable or uncertain. Stoic philosophy reminds us that we are not meant to live in isolation. We are part of a larger community, and authentic relationships are where our true power lies. So don't let anyone convince you otherwise. Protect your connections fiercely, and you'll find the strength to rise above any manipulation. Part 9. Jealousy in disguise. Envy is a profoundly toxic emotion, but it becomes most dangerous when it's cleverly disguised as concern or goodwill. Seneca once reminded us that envy is the ulcer of the soul, and for those who harbor it, their advice or attention often isn't meant to uplift you, but rather to subtly chip away at your confidence and self-esteem. Such individuals simply cannot stand the happiness or success of others. Cloaked in seemingly helpful advice or backhanded compliments, They sow insidious seeds of doubt about your worth and accomplishments. I once had a friend who always seemed deeply invested in my achievements. After I completed a major project I was incredibly proud of, one that took immense effort and dedication, she said, "That's great, but maybe next time you should push yourself a bit more to really reach a higher standard." At first, I thought it was genuine advice, perhaps a push for excellence. But upon reflection, her tone carried an undeniable undertone, a subtle cut, designed not to lift me up, but to diminish what I'd accomplished, to make it feel less significant. What seemed like harmless feedback was, in reality, a way to make me feel like I wasn't quite good enough, no matter how hard I tried. These false compliments are often mixed with remarks that subtly undermine. A jealous person won't attack you outright. Instead, they plant small, persistent doubts in your mind, making you question your own capabilities and successes. They might say things like, "You did really well," but don't get too excited. There's always room for improvement. Or, "That's amazing, but I heard someone else did something similar and got even better results." This behavior is neither care nor goodwill. It's a strategic maneuver to pull you down to their level. Envious individuals cannot truly celebrate your light because it highlights the shadows within themselves. They don't want to see you thrive, they want to see you shrink, so they no longer feel threatened or inferior. Stoic philosophy teaches us to trust our intuition. If you sense something off in someone's praise or advice, listen to that feeling. Look deeper into the true intentions behind seemingly harmless words. A truly kind person will genuinely elevate you, praise you wholeheartedly, and encourage you to go further. In stark contrast, a jealous person uses their words as manipulative tools to control your emotions and chip away at your confidence. To protect yourself, set clear boundaries and don't let anyone diminish your worth. Surround yourself with those who genuinely celebrate your success, people who not only help you shine, but actively push you to reach new heights. Remember, you don't need to dim your light to make others feel more comfortable. Stand firm in your value and let your light shine brightly. Part 10. The unrepentant heart. One of the clearest and most definitive signs of a truly evil person is an unrepentant heart. Marcus Aurelius taught that we should not waste time debating what a good person should be, but instead focus on taking actions to relentlessly improve ourselves. However, evil individuals often do the exact opposite. They cling rigidly to destructive habits, they never admit fault, and they certainly have no intention of repairing the profound damage they cause. They live in a state of perpetual denial, justifying their actions with elaborate, flimsy excuses, making it seem as if the problem never lies with them. Think of someone you've known, a person who always had an excuse for every mistake, every broken promise. When they hurt others, instead of genuinely apologizing or showing remorse, they blame the circumstances or argue that others are no better, or even claim the victim deserved it. Whenever someone tried to explain how their behavior caused harm, they'd deflect, shift blame, or even accuse the other person of overreacting or being too sensitive. But what truly stands out, what sends a chill down your spine, is their complete and utter refusal to change. To them, self-reflection and correcting wrongs are seen as profound weaknesses, while stubbornness and denial are viewed as strengths. This mindset starkly contrasts with Stoic philosophy. A true Stoic understands that self-reflection, admitting mistakes, and making amends are not signs of weakness, but of profound courage and self-respect. Those with unrepentant hearts not only hurt others, but also fundamentally reject the vital opportunity for personal growth and maturity. They are trapped in a cycle of their own making, unwilling to evolve. If you're close to someone who constantly justifies their actions, avoids accountability, and never seeks to repair the harm they've done, take a moment to reflect deeply. Not everyone is willing to grow or change, no matter how much you wish they would. Protect yourself from toxic relationships like these and wisely invest your energy in those who genuinely lift you up, people with the courage to confront their own flaws and strive to be better. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, focus your mind on thoughts and people who elevate the quality of your life. So we've just walked through 10 undeniable signs that there might be a toxic individual lurking close to you. Chilling, right? But remember, awareness is your most powerful weapon. Evil people can only manipulate you when you're unaware of their tactics. Once you recognize their strategies, you not only protect yourself, but also shield your inner peace from their chaos. Marcus Aurelius taught us that true strength lies in mastering your mind and your reactions. Don't let toxic individuals invade your mental space or disrupt your serenity. Set firm boundaries, stand strong in your truth, and keep shining, because your light is the very thing they fear most. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to the Chill Stoic channel, and comment "I see the signs" to let the world know you're ready to safeguard yourself from negative influences. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next episode where your wisdom will continue to grow.